Hi, welcome back to the Baller Diaries.
Today we have a very special guest, Anna Camden. For those who don't know, me and Anna were teammates last season before I transferred to Georgetown, but unfortunately we were not able to ever play together, which she'll get into a little bit. But for now, why don't you just tell us a little bit more about yourself so they get to know you?
Hey guys, so like I said, or like she said, I'm Anna. I currently play at University of Richmond for my 6th year. I graduated from Penn State and played basketball at Penn State for 4 years and then transferred to Richmond for my COVID year where I tore my ACL, so I didn't play, which was last year, so that's when Siobhan and I would have mixed paths. And now I'm back for my 6th year at Richmond and really excited to play.
And she's very much so tapping into the grandma aspect of her career, as she just posted a video for Media Day, literally dressing up as a grandma. So she's very proud of her 6th year, but we are also very proud of her too because she had a very quick recovery. And so from a behind the scenes person, it's very awesome to see her playing, and it's unfortunately that we didn't get to play together, but we will be playing against each other this year because
mark your calendars.
Georgetown and Richmond are playing against each other, and I hope that by the time this video is posted, our official schedule is released and that was allowed to be said.
Ours isn't released.
Ours isn't released either, but by the time this is posted, I'm sure it will be released. And so yeah, mark your calendars. I will be coming back to Richmond to play against Anna.
Let's go. It's crazy, like we never even played against each other in practice.
No.
Like I have never been on the court with you.
Ever.
For
Actually,
like 10 minutes.
because we were actually teammates on 4-on-4 or 3-on-3 when you got hurt.
Wow, see, I don't remember
And
that.
I only remember because our other teammate also has gotten injured, and I was standing in the exact same spot in the exact same drill, and so that's just like ingrained in my brain. So we really should stop playing 3-on-3. But
for context, I moved into Richmond, and within 24 hours, tore my ACL.
Yeah.
So like we were in the first workout. I think we were like 20 minutes in, and I popped it. So like it was immediate when I got to Richmond.
From my perspective, we had done like one shooting drill, and when transfers come in, you're trying to like size them up, see what they're like capable of doing. So we had only done shooting drills, and we were finally playing like live. And I remember she caught the ball, and I was like, this is the first time that we're gonna see what plays you're able to do. And yeah, that was obviously a really, really sad moment, but that segues into one of our first questions that I think is really important for everyone watching to learn about is like the level of hard work and like passion and motivation that you put into your recovery, which has let you come back and play. So just talk about like your process a little bit, talk about just like your recovery, things you've learned. I know if you follow her on Instagram and TikTok, like you're super open about tips and like you've done giveaways and all that stuff. So like people know, but for our followers, just talk a little bit about that.
So when I got hurt, it, like we said, was so early on. I didn't even know if I was gonna stay at Richmond. I didn't know if I was ever gonna play basketball again. I had very much I was able to walk away completely unattached if I needed to because it was so early on. But I decided to wait 2 months to get my surgery. I did that partially because I knew that I needed to get myself in a better spot mentally than I was in the moment, and then I also wanted to build up my strength, which if you've ever gone through that type of injury, you know that after surgery you lose all your muscle. So if you build your muscle up more, then you're losing less. That was kind of the mindset. So, but honestly, from the from the day I got hurt, I kind of just knew if I'm coming back 100%. Like I am going to make this recovery my thing that I'm not gonna say. That was my mantra. And so I remember you saying, it was 1 or 2 weeks after I tore my ACL, and I was squatting, moving around, rocking. You were you're the most functional person I've ever seen with a torn ACL. And it was weird. I will say, part of it was just I'm a coper. Some bodies are better coping, some aren't. But I was able to really push my body a lot. And then I got my surgery, and it was just like I said, it was go mode. I hadn't decided that I was coming back yet. I think in my heart I always knew.
I think we kind of always knew too.
In my heart I knew, but I had a lot of fear and questions and doubt, so my head wasn't there yet, and so I didn't fully commit.
And that's super important though, because if you come back and that even goes for injuries, non-injuries, basketball and all sports is such a mental game, and so even when you're completely healthy and you're mentally off with your shot, your shot's not going to go in. So if you're going to come back and put your body at risk again, because we really are all at risk every time we step on the floor, you need to make sure you're mentally strong too.
Exactly. And so eventually my head caught up with my heart, and obviously here we are, I'm playing again. But regardless, I wanted to prepare as if I was definitely coming back, and that's what I did. So I mean, I think a lot of the days I just turned being upset or being hurting and the mental struggles that we talk about into just all right, well, there's only one way to do this, attack this, and that's just to push myself physically. So I had a fast recovery. I got like, so for motion for bending your knee, you want like, the goal is 140 degrees of motion in your knee, because like after surgery you're very stiff. That's 4 weeks. I got 140 degrees in 2 weeks. So like I like killed the early parts of my recovery, which allowed me to come back in a strong way. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you have any, like, kind of talk about the process, like, while being injured and stuff, of, like, mentally, like, things that you did to kind of mitigate the effects of, like, losing kind of basketball?
Yeah. There's literally only one answer I can give that, and that's my faith. Like, any other answer would simply be a lie, because God literally carried me through that injury. Like, I think up until that point in my life, my sport was one of the last things I had yet to surrender to God. Like, I was still just trying to control it so much. And when I got injured, like, I think I just needed his strength. Like, I couldn't do it by myself. I was alone, isolated in a new city, like, just questioning a lot of things. And by the grace of God, I got through it, and I got through it better and came out better than I was when I went into it, which is just like, that's something only God can do. But yeah, I think I just spent time in his word. I prayed, and just, like I said, fully surrendered and gave it to him. And I had to understand, like, there is a purpose in my suffering right now, and you're going to use it for good. Romans 8:28 tells us that he works all things for the good of those who love him. And so I just had to continue to remind myself of that. And then I also had to remind myself that through my suffering, I could project Jesus even more, because only when we are willing to be uncommon can we, like, only when we are willing to be different can we do different things, if that makes sense. That sounds so stupid, but it's not a clue in my head. Anyways, my point is, the answer to that is Jesus. Like, mentally, that's how I got through it. And there were hard days. Like, there were days when I would just, like, sob in my prayer, like, just, why do you have me here? And, like, I don't understand. But I'm happier and healthier now than I've probably ever been in my life. So clearly there was good reason behind it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of crazy too, because I remember, like, I went through, like, when I got hurt my freshman year, I kind of felt like I was really stuck in the why stage of, like, I worked so hard to, like, prepare myself for college. Like, I did all the right things. Like, I did all my whatever, and I still got hurt. I was like, why? What's the point? And I was, like, really frustrated. But then I feel like now that I've had, like, years to reflect, it's like, it was probably the best thing to ever happen to me, because now I have an extra year that now I can finish a master's degree. Like, that's something that I would never have sought out a master's degree. I wouldn't have tried to transfer. Like, there's so many things that, like, now, like, all these good decisions, like, were because of that one simple thing that, like, seemed like the worst thing ever at the time, but now has, like, paid off so much. And it's so crazy, like, the perspective on everything. But, like, obviously, like, for me, I was you definitely found that a lot quicker than I did, because I just now, I would say, like, came to terms with that. Like, I was like, damn, like, that really sucks, like, losing my freshman year. And I was, like, stuck in that state for, like, a good 3 years, you know.
But you were also a baby. Like, I already had 4 years of experience to kind of, like, help me work through it. Like, you said it was your freshman year, right? So when you're a freshman, you're so much more vulnerable. You have so much less, like, maturity, I guess would be the word, to, like, help you get through that. So
For sure.
I would have a lot of grace with yourself too. That's tough.
Yeah, but I definitely think that's why it's so important. Like, if I would have, like, I wish I would have heard what you just said 3 years ago, you know what I'm saying? Because it's so important. And I think that's, like, really one of the main reasons why we're, like, here trying to talk about it, so that, like, maybe there is another freshman who might get hurt, and, like, now you have two people saying, like, it'll get better, you know?
Right. And I think that's why it's been, like, really cool and special to see you share your story on social media. So let's segue a little bit into that, because when you've been doing social media before you got injured, and so when you got injured, was that something that immediately you were comfortable sharing? Was that something that you thought, not that that's how your, like, social media would, like, kind of take for a little bit, but was that something you were, like, always open to sharing, or that was kind of, like, hard for you to navigate?
Yeah, so I think I've always been very vulnerable on my social media, so I was never hesitant to share the ACL journey. I could have never predicted or foreseen the amount of, like, the community that I would build, like, the ACL community.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many people that follow me only for my ACL content or because of what I share, and that was, like, I would have never predicted that or thought that could come from that. I get so many DMs about, like, thank you for sharing your journey, or, like, you've inspired me, or, like, you made me turn to God again, like, all these things from, like, they went through injury or something, and that has been just, like, I'm so thankful for that, and I'm so thankful to be connected to all those people. But I think the reason I started to share so much was because I had, like, a moment in church where, like we said, questioning a little bit of why, and, like, not even why did you let this happen to me, more so, like, what's the point? Like, I just got to a new school. Why couldn't this happen with my best friends at my old school? I was kind of just like, what is the purpose in this? And there's a song called The Story I'll Tell by Maverick City Music, and it basically just talks about how everything that we go through is a story we'll one day tell. And that is a version of our testimony. And I just like had this moment in church, and I was like in tears. I cry a lot, as I think Siobhan might know, but I'm a very emotional person, guys. But I was crying in church, and I was just like, I just had this feeling like I knew that God was going to use my story, and that He has, because I've been connected with so many people who have gone through what I went through, and it's been like a beautiful way to connect with people. So
yeah, no, for sure. And I just think about if I was someone going through an injury, being able to look up to someone like you, and that's also why we do this podcast too, like, and try to find people that have different stories, and like you come with so much to give, and so like that's why I think for your social media is more of like a story of your life too. It's not just like like yes, you're doing your makeup and you're doing Get Ready to Me, but like you're talking about important stuff, and that's why we were like so excited to have you on here. But I think that's just a good segue into just social media in general, since it is such a big part of you, and it's such a big part of basketball now and like this landscape.
Yeah.
So how did your injury impact your social media, and then now how has being recovered, is that like changing like how you view social media? Is that has that changed like how you're gonna use it this year during the school year? Like now that you're playing again, like time management wise, last year you were always in the gym and doing stuff, but now you're playing too. So like how is that kind of impacting your social media?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so when I got hurt and I knew that I wasn't gonna be playing, one of my biggest fears was that I was gonna like lose followers because I couldn't put out basketball content.
Okay.
Like I was never in a uniform. I like honestly wasn't even in the headspace to make like basketball jokes because like nothing was funny to me at that point. But like you said, all of a sudden I had a new following like for the ACL. So I kind of just like went into that content and dove into that. And like you also said, I had a lot more time because I didn't have to worry about memorizing scouts. I wasn't getting film or individual sessions with coaches. I was just, my only job was to attack my rehab, and then I, was making content. So I definitely had a lot more time. And the content was also like an outlet at that point. It was like a next distraction. And it was also a beautiful way to look back at all the ways that I was growing and getting stronger. Like I could look back from like week 1, I could barely walk, and like month 1, I'm like squatting for the first time. Like it was exciting and good reminders for myself. Now, it's definitely been an adjustment because now I have people asking for more ACL content, like and I'm like, I don't have it anymore, guys. Like I'm clear.
That's true.
It's been funny because
I go back and watch the old videos. Yeah, go scroll through the page.
It's been funny because I used to be so worried that people only want basketball content, and now I can finally give them basketball content, and they're like, no, we want to talk about ACL, which it means a lot. I'm thankful for that. So I've been trying to still kind of sprinkle in like these are exercises I did to make my quad back, things like that. And also, to be fair, the ACL journey, it never fully ends. Like I'm sure you can attest to that. Like this is a nagging injury at this point. Like I still have a lot of knee pain, so I'm still dealing with it. But and then the other part of that is, like you said, the time. So I think now my priority is more on the court, and I still do the content creation. I still have fun, and like social media, as long as my followers want me, will always be a part of my life. But it does switch a little bit in terms of how much time I can give it.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. So you said it's always going to be a part of your life. So you think that that's something after you graduate, after you're done, you're just going to kind of like transition that into like come to work with me or like come.
I honestly, I don't know. Like I always wonder about how that'll look because like I said, one of my fears is that when I'm done with basketball, people are going to be like, all right, washed up, irrelevant, like we don't want your content anymore.
I doubt it, because I feel like for you, a lot of the people that are following like you instead of, it's not like you're posting highlight clips.
Right.
Like, yes, you're in a uniform, but it's not like, oh, watch me like go dunk. Like you're just you as an athlete. Like, so I think, plus if you stay in the sports world and stuff like that, I feel like you still have a natural path through that.
And I think that's what's really I think is really cool about how you've kind of done your social media from the start is like building it. It's about you first, not like your performance, which I think is kind of, I don't know if you had this in mind like when you started, but like now like I think it'll be like you're saying a much easier segue because it's like you're saying people are following for you, for your authenticity, for your stories, for your faith, for your all these other things, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it would be more challenging if someone's like, oh, this is just my highlights, this is this, and now like that's I feel like a harder transition versus like you've built up this like kind of over time like this like fan base of people that legit like want to hear what you have to say for advice in general. Like it's like a credibility thing I think too, is like, since you've now been able to like put advice and things in so many different areas. Like I think it'll be a cool transition. And so I think like other athletes too, for female athletes, like now it's like the next step is like we're watching what you're gonna do when you graduate.
so
Like
true.
how do we as athletes work? What do we work? Are we gonna work out?
Which
like,
also,
what are we gonna do?
I'm
Good point.
excited to graduate because I feel like not that I'm like too late on the whole like basketball content, but I honestly just get like so tired after practice that I can't bring myself
That's so
to do
real.
it.
It's
So
so real.
I'm like already planning once I graduate. This is gonna be for all you guys to look at. I'm gonna post like day 1 of being a retired college athlete, day 2 of being a college retired athlete. So I'm like, if I'm gonna go viral, it's actually gonna be the month or 2 after I'm done, because I'm gonna be like, I've already talked to my roommate with this, like, we're gonna go to a yoga class, we're gonna go to a boxing
I
class,
can't
we're gonna
wait
go
to
on
do
a walk.
yoga, dude.
That's what
Hot
I'm
yoga,
saying.
that is gonna have my name
So-
all over it.
Not that you can like steal my idea or anything, but it'll probably work better for you.
Right.
Just go into the retired athlete thing. I think it'll work.
Okay, honestly, that's great to hear and a good reminder. And that's something I learned because when I left Penn State, my brand was Penn State. It was like Anna Camden, Penn State. And when I got to Richmond and I had to like shift that, I was like,
because also
I'm not
Richmond's not holding as much of a name as Penn State.
but I also didn't give it as much of a name as I gave Penn State, and that was very intentional because I learned that I wanted it to be like Anna Camden's brand, not Anna Camden Penn State's brand. If that makes sense. But I don't ever want to be like, to go back to your question, I don't ever want to be like a full-time influencer.
Right.
That's never been my dream. That is not my dream. I still want to go into broadcast journalism and whatnot. But like I said, I love sharing my life. I just love connecting with people, and I do feel like God's given me this platform for a reason, so as long as I have it, I'm going to try to use it to do good.
Yeah. And it also comes with a lot of perks, because I have seen plenty of cute little PR hauls. So not that this is why you do it, because obviously, as she has shared, there's tons of other reasons why you are an influencer first. But at the end of the day, you do receive some perks from it.
I sure do.
So why don't you share maybe like something that's really funny that you've received, and then something that like is one of the coolest things you've gotten from this?
From PR?
Yeah, or just from PR, or from like the world that
Like
you're now
brands,
living in, brands, just like, maybe something funny and something cool.
Okay. Cool would be, and I know you're gonna love this, I like the Poppy PR.
I'm so jealous.
Okay, but wait. Like, I got this memory, like my junior year at Penn State, which was almost 3 years ago, which is really embarrassing. I DM'd them before they were even big and got a bag of raspberry rose. And that was when they were like, they only had like 4 flavors.
Right.
And so that's when I got on the PR list, before they blew up. So like, I had been plugged for like, I just put a little bit, but I had been plugged for a minute, which is nice.
That's so unfair, because I actually DM'd Poppy, and they responded back. They responded back that you could sign up for this influencer page. And I haven't heard back, so maybe now that you know that I'm friends with Anna, maybe Poppy.
Yeah, Poppy, hook her
if you're
up.
listening, we're gonna tag you.
But yes, I love Poppy. Okay. That's just one I had to shout out because I knew that you love Poppy too.
I do love Poppy.
Okay. The coolest PR for me will always be, I just think that, oh my gosh, I don't know, it's hard. Okay, here's something really cool. So, I don't know if you guys know the brand Nudes.
I think like the granola bars.
No.
Oh.
The clothing. Okay, it's like an up and coming clothing, and it's giving Skims. Kind of, like similar.
Okay.
Very cozy, very like nude colors, hence the name.
Yeah, I should have
But
guessed.
they
both
sent
first.
me.
You said granola bar?
Because there's a granola bar that starts with an N. Anyways, ignore that.
Okay,
Dudes, I'm so sorry. I'll definitely buy something from you soon.
They sent me PR, and it had a hanger, a wooden hanger, and engraved said "Made for Anna," with like a new shirt, and then the packaging, like, you know when you open like a nice something and it's like there's tape and it's paper, like tissue paper, and all the paper said "Made for Anna," and I was like,
That is so cool.
so I still use the hanger, obviously, like that's
Right.
so cool.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. The funniest,
Or just like something random, something that
there's
like
definitely been some
backfired.
random things. I'm trying to remember. There's definitely been some random things. I just got like all of this protein powder from this like really random company that I just give straight to my boyfriend.
Well, honestly,
Because
that
I don't
works,
even know
though.
if it's like NCAA approved, so I'm not
Right.
gonna risk it. So I just give straight to him.
I think my
get-
favorite thing that I saw from you was the Maybelline ball.
Wait, Estee Lauder ball.
Or Estee Lauder
that
ball.
was like insane.
That was super
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, so Addie, this is my teammate, her old teammate, whatever. Always makes fun of me because I had that ball and we were moving apartments, and I was like, I can't let I can't let it go. It's so cool. And she's like, when are you gonna use that? And I'm like, but it says Estee Lauder.
Yeah, it needs to sit in your room on a bookshelf.
So
Like,
it's an Estee Lauder basketball.
yeah.
That they like an outdoor basketball, which is so good. It came in like this ball case,
Yes.
and it was for March Madness. It was really cool.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
was
good one.
something
I
I was
low-key
like,
forgot about that.
no, I'll like never forget that. I was like, that is actually so cool. And it was like so on brand. Like they did a
Right.
really good job at like individualizing the PR because like
Yeah.
obviously basketball and makeup, and there's not that many people in that space that like
That would
have a
do that.
following like you. Yeah.
Oh, I was saying in many brands.
Brands that would do that too, yeah. And I think that's really cool because I think we've talked about this like on past episodes too of like being girly in a more masculine sport. And so I think that in the future we're gonna see a lot of brands doing crossovers like that. A lot of makeup brands doing like setting spray for athletes who like to wear makeup during games.
That
or,
needs
like,
to be invented now.
So I think
for my
that's
next
kind
2
of
years.
that's kind of the future of like
Okay, the one
women's
size
basketball.
setting spray is really good for like sweating and stuff.
Okay.
Really good if you
Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to talk about
I
that
like
later.
really
Okay,
can't. I sweat so
something-
much. It's like so bad.
Okay, this is so talking about like PR kind of representing brands. Did you ever outline like kind of not I don't want to say rules but like guidelines for what you're gonna say yes or no to, or like how do you
Good
decide what you
question.
say no to? Because
Yeah.
like I think we're both in the space where like really nothing unless it's alcohol is a no for us.
Yeah.
So
bring
like,
it,
you know,
bring it on.
like-
Any company, bring it on.
But like for you, like you're since like you've kind of gotten to a point where you can say no, like
Right.
how do you say no and like what are your kind of like guidelines for what you say
Yeah,
yes or
okay.
no to?
Great question. So there's a couple different things that go into it. Number one, are they gonna pay me enough, right? Like I am not gonna be underpaid. But
Period.
if it's a brand that is
Yeah,
so
women who know their worth.
Facts. Listen, say that again. She said she's not going to be underpaid. Thank
you better come
The
with that
Following
money.
is the only company that can underpay her.
Oh my god, as we're giving her a t-shirt for this.
But like with this, if it's a brand I really care about or a company I care about or there's like a family type of feel or relationship, then the money is negotiable.
Nice.
Amazing.
Good to know.
Anyways, but the biggest factor is truly like, is it on brand? Like I will say, one deal that I did that I felt so silly posting, and to this day I'm like, why did I take that? Was ramen, like maracuja or whatever the brand is. And I like ramen. Like I ate it when I was a kid, but like I have never once bought that since I got to college.
Right.
And it was like a day in the life how I like fuel with ramen. And again, I love ramen, but it just felt it was a little disingenuous. And I look back and I'm like, that one, it wasn't good. Like it wasn't authentic to me. So that's a big thing. Is it authentic? Do I actually care about the product? Do I care about like the values of the company and stuff? I'd say those are the biggest criteria that I kind of go through. And I do turn down a good amount.
Yeah.
Usually because of the money is like I'm like I don't want to like overcrowd my feed, so I kind of pick and choose. But yeah.
Yeah.
How have you? Oh, you got it.
Okay. Just while we're on that, like,
Yeah.
now, when you say like money, like, do you break it down? Because I'm always like, so now I currently got myself into, I'm the chair for the NIL committee of my whatever school, and I'm kind of
Okay,
trying to,
girl.
it was random, but anyways, what I'm trying to like kind of help explain is that like, when we talk about money, it's like, do you break it down by like hours you're gonna spend making the content, by how much they offer you? Like, when you say like money of like, do you kind of set yourself, like you give yourself like a wage kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I don't know,
you're
like,
saying.
because if someone,
Like how do I figure out what money
yes,
is
exactly.
adequate, basically?
Perfect. Yeah.
So specifically as my Instagram's grown, my rates have gone up. So like my agent and I have like, they've come to me with a number, and then I'm like, more or less, he has like a set like range of what, if someone gives him this, he automatically might ask for a little more or something like that. So there's like a range that he knows will be like I can work in between there. But it's hard to say like this is the set thing or like wage per hour or something, because it's grown as my impact or as my engagement has grown, if that makes sense.
So then, are you ever directly in contact with brands, or is it always through your agent now?
Yes. So I was for about a year,
Okay.
and then it got to be like too much to do, balancing like doing the content, balancing basketball, and then trying to read the email, read the contracts, do the negotiations, like all that was just too much. I hate checking my email. Oh my goodness. I love content creation. I hate the business side of it.
Okay.
Now for the year, it was very helpful for me to learn about that side
Right.
of things and just like have to do it, and I got really good at it. But then I was at a point I was like, all right, whatever, I'll pay you 15%, take care of all this stuff. So now they talk to the agent.
Okay.
I have complete creative freedom. I do all of that completely by myself. I do all my editing by myself. I pay them, or they get their 15% for all of the negotiations, all of the like reading the emails. They kind of just text me, hey, sign up for this affiliate link and then post this link at, you know, on the 18th with this caption, blah, blah, type thing. So they take care of the stuff that I don't really like.
Which honestly is good, because then that allows social media to still be a job for you, but not like a burden. Like
it's definitely a job.
Yeah.
It's definitely a job.
But you get to do the parts that you like instead of like it's still stressful. You still go through a lot of things that you need to do in order to get the money, but you get to take away the bad side.
Yeah.
So now, like, let's switch a little bit back to the basketball side, just because obviously that's what's like really exciting for you and what's new. So you guys just went to Spain and you got to play in your first unofficial game.
Right.
So like, how was that? Talk about maybe like in terms of your injury, but just in terms of like, this is also really your first time playing for Richmond. So like, how was that? Was there anything that surprised you about like playing with our old team or like the coaches or anything? Like, how was your experience playing again?
So game 1 and game 2 were very, very different. First of all, the conditions in Spain, you guys, rough. That was the slipperiest court I've ever played.
Oh, and that's like the worst game to play back.
Literally.
Yeah.
So, but everyone on the team was like, this is so slippery. It wasn't just me. It was just dusty. Then we had like sunlight coming in, blinding us at like, when you were like, Addie, literally, I don't even know how she made it. Of course she made it. She was shooting a 3 on the wing. And in the film, you can just see the sun is like straight on her face. She was like, I didn't even see anything, I just shot it, and she made it. But it was horrible conditions. So that set me up to be just nervous already, because like, this is my baby, you know, I've like worked her up, I've built
and
her
it's not
muscle
worth
back.
it for like a not real game.
Yeah, so I'm already nervous because it's the first game. Then I'm nervous because of the slipperiness. That first game, the anxiety won. Like, I had so much fear, and I was a deer in headlights. We won, and like it was still a good experience to get under my belt, and just to kind of get a feel for everything. But the second game was when I was like, oh, it feels good to be back. It like, I mean, I still had plenty of mistakes, and still was like, oh my gosh, I missed so many layups, which is partially just getting adjusted to the speed of the game. But I was just happy to be out there. I felt so free from like any sort of fear or anxiety. I was just out there playing. Talking a little trash. I was like laughing. No, but it was like a really funny moment with Jada actually. Long story, but anyways, it was just fun. I really enjoyed it. We won again, but like I said, it was just good to get my feet wet. And the reason the second game was so much more freeing is because, like I talked about earlier, I had to like consciously decide I'm gonna surrender this to God. I'm gonna just go play for His glory and not try to control it too much, which is what I always try to do. And it was such a better experience.
I'm so excited to honestly watch film on you guys now. It's not even like when I'm watching the games, I'm not even gonna, well, I guess I'll sort of cheer.
Oh my gosh.
But I'll really be like, I'm already ready. Like when we are playing you guys, I'm like sitting in the scouting room.
Oh, I'm sure. You'll probably write the scout.
Yeah, no, I literally, when my coaches told me, I was like, so like, can we get started? Like, they literally told me in July, and I was like, okay, well that means we have like 6 months. Like, I'm gonna make sure that you guys know every single move that they go to in order of like, although there's honestly so many new people that it's like, it's not even really gonna help, but I'm intrigued to like watch you guys and see how that works. And also because like, I don't even know exactly what type of player you are. Like, I would not have thought that you trash talked.
Okay, so let me just tell a little story. So I'm not a huge trash talker, but I'll have like little moments. And so in Spain, by our bench, like in front of our bench, in the first half, I blocked a girl shot. I didn't say anything, but I came out of the game, and Allie, one of our transfers, and Jada were like, oh, like, what'd you say? What'd you say? I was like, what are you guys talking about? They're like, somebody said something. And I was like, it wasn't me. And Allie was like, oh yeah, I didn't think you were gonna talk. And Jada was, and I was kind of like offended. And Jada was like, yeah, she would. I was like, thank you, Jada. So
well, that's because you guys probably spend so much time next to each other on the bench and like trash talking the games. Probably like talking about us when we did that and the other team too. Like,
so then in the second half, on the other end of the court, I blocked another shot, and this one was better. So then I literally looked at the bench, and I was like, give me that.
Naturally.
And I just looked at Allie and Jada, but like, it looked like I was just like saying it to the world. And so everyone was going crazy. All of our coaches were like, did Anna just say
so
that?
fun though.
Yeah. It was so funny. so funny.
That's so exciting.
I have like a rule for myself because my issue is like I'm always scared I'm gonna trash talk and then it's gonna like I'm gonna like miss the next shot and then so I have a rule for myself. I don't say a word. I keep my mouth shut the entire game until I have 10 points. That is like that's my cutoff. Like, I don't say anything because I'm like I can't say something and then airball or something because it always is like that. If I open my mouth, the next shot is an airball. Yes. It's like God's like, you better watch your mouth. Like
also, it's like I'm not gonna trash talk if I score on you unless I know for a fact you're not gonna score on me, and so that like limits.
The only time I've seen you like kind of get a little like, I was like, okay, so that was the championship game.
And can I be so completely honest? It's because I already knew I was like transferring at that moment, and I went into that A10 tournament like I am just like the freest human being ever.
We were all like, who is this?
Like, and that's funny because that was like so me. Like that was the time where I was like, I am playing like my basketball. There was no like trauma is so intense of a word, but like you know like when you're playing and you're playing with the same people and you're playing with the same coaches, like you are like you remember certain things like okay like this pass is better than this in this instance. I didn't care. The A10 tournament, I was just like no. It's like if it's my shot, it's my shot. If it's their shot, it's their shot. But I wasn't like set in rules. I wasn't set in like feelings. I was just like whatever. And honestly, I was just so confident in our team that I was just like, I don't care. Like I just went out there and I was like, okay, if I missed, guess what? Someone else is gonna make it. So I don't care. I'm still trash talking you guys because at that point I was like trash talking on behalf of Richmond. I was like, I make a layup, but no, like we made a layup. Like you guys are cooked. Like it's over for you. Like I knew that it was over for everyone in the tournament. Like 30 seconds into the first play, and it was just like the energy was there. We had the crowd. Like that was still like so cool. But yeah, I actually really do think that like, I mean, I kind of had known I was transferring for a little while, but that was when I was like, okay, I'm actually transferring in like a week. Like so it was just like very like, I don't know. Like even in practices, like I still remember there was like a distinct practice that like that was the day that I had finally, I think I had like told the coaches or like I had just felt more like relief in the fact that like other people had known. And I went out and I had like the best practice of my life. Like I was literally shooting like step backs from like far out to the 3-point line, and like not that like step backs weren't really like allowed, but just like I didn't really like shoot step backs like frequently, but that practice I was like, who cares? Like if they're gonna yell at me, like the season's over. So I think that like also kind of helped, and I just felt like very relaxed and free. But I don't like trash talking unless I'm like very confident that I'm gonna beat you, but I don't
As
always.
someone that's trained with you since I was like 8, you definitely trash talk. But it's okay because it's good because we both trash talk.
She knows she's gonna beat
She's like,
well, that's no, because we're like very similar players. So like, if I trash
so
talk,
what she's saying is she trash talks the mess out of me.
I trash talk Ella because I also know everything. Not like everything they're gonna do, but like we've trained together for like 10 plus years. So it's like, yes, I'm a trash talker because even if she scores on me, I don't care. I'm still gonna do it anyways because it's also in training, so there's like no like nerves. Like I don't want to trash talk you in a game and then like get inside the wrong player's head, because there's certain people that if you trash talk them, it's lights over. Like they're taking it to another level. They're like hunting you. I'm not trying to be hunted in a game. In training session, it's like if I make Ella mad and now she goes off on me, guess what? I can drive home that day and like nothing mattered, and we can come back the next day. But I'm not trying to make the wrong one mad, because we used to, at Richmond, our practice players were our trash talkers, and they used to sit right over there and trash talk people on the team, and sometimes I would look over at them and be like, stop trash talking her. Like, please, we are winning this game because she's not playing well right now, but like stop. Like let her keep playing bad, because if you trash talk her and she starts going off and scores 30, like this game's gonna look different. So like
it's your fault.
Yes, and so there's like certain people you can trash talk, but I'm not gonna risk it and find the wrong person. So that's my rule.
fair enough. Yeah. I mean, oh, I almost just swore. Anyways, but I did have a question about. Okay. So, can you talk about coming back from injury, like, because how to like know what's pain, discomfort, and what to push through, because that's something that I struggled so much with.
When I find out, I'll let you know.
Okay.
No, it's tough because as athletes we're taught, like, if you can't do this, it's weak and you're soft.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you get injured, and that is no longer the case. It's like very different all of a sudden. That was something that was really, really, really hard for me to like comprehend. Like, no, you physically cannot do this.
Right.
It's not
like,
a matter of
it's gonna
pushing
hurt
through.
you too.
Yes, it's going to make it worse. And so I think even now, honestly, I have a load and a pain management in the day-to-day practice, even though I'm fully cleared, that I've never had to deal with before. And it comes with a lot of like meetings with my trainers, like check-ins with coaches, just to kind of see where my body's at, because I'm not, you know, the nimble 18-year-old I used to be. But I would say, I think the best method that I've learned, and it's still not foolproof, but is just trusting in the trainers and the strength coaches, and the people that kind of have done this, that have gone through this with other people, like trusting in their advice and their opinions. Like there's days I'd be training with Beecher, who was our old strength coach, and I would just like look at him and be like, dude, I'm hurting today, like, can I not go, or do I need to push through? And there were days he'd be like, yeah, let's lessen the reps, and sometimes he'd be like, you need to push through.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I trust you fully, I know like you have my best interests at heart, I believe you, let's go. And then I would go give him the absolute best I can. But it is tough, like, because you're like, is this a yellow light, as in slow down, or is this a you need to push through and be
Right, like is it fatigue or is it actual like hurting?
It's tough.
And I think that's hard, like, as just any athlete, as you said, like, we're so geared to like push through sickness, push through injuries, push through mental fatigue, like all of it. And we're definitely going to touch on this more in other episodes, because I personally sometimes have like adopted the like unhealthy mindset of an athlete. Like I personally like I've like honestly grown to like fully believe it now, and that's like really bad, because I'll like even tell myself, I'm like, no, like get up, like go do this. But I do have to say, as you get older, it gets a little bit easier to be like, it's fine, like taking a day off is fine.
Yeah, and I think that honestly just comes with age, of like
Yeah, it
simply
does.
knowing your body, because I think that like for me, like the things that I think I'm very good now, this is my 4th year of college basketball, that like I can tell what's soreness and what's pain very differently. Like versus like my first year, freshman year, it was like, ow, everything hurts, because everything hurts when you get to college. Because
But
it's
you're
like you're
sore.
but you're sore.
You're not hurt.
Yes, exactly. And so like now I know, okay, this is sore, this is pain, and pain is like, stop what you're doing, figure that out right now, because like I think for me, I would just get them confused, and then it's just like, it's just a total like,
It's a learning curve.
yeah, it is.
But also, like, those experiences as freshmen having to push through hurt or pain, like, those are transformative, and you need them.
You do.
Yeah,
when you're a
that's true.
senior or a 5th year or a 6th year, then, like, you...
not many of those out there.
Cut that part out. Like, you know what you can do.
Yeah.
You've proven yourself. It's different. When you're young, you need to push through things to prove to yourself, to prove to your coaches, to prove to your teammates, to build your own mental
Which is
toughness.
why freshman year sucks.
Yes.
Because no matter how
You have
sick
to
you
do
are,
it.
unfortunately, the advice is to like get up and
through
go
it.
it. And
Yeah.
like, honestly, when you're a freshman, it's better to like be sick 3 extra days, but have proven that you can play through your sickness, than to like sit out.
Rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
that's just seniority, like benefits of seniority.
right,
to be
because
honest.
it's unfortunate. Like, as a freshman, you have to overcome more, and the hard thing and the good thing about it is that everyone does it.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
there's not a single person out there that it's excused from a freshman year. Like, you're gonna have to go through it, and so that's good, because there's like a camaraderie, and like
it makes you stronger.
it makes you so much
It
stronger.
really
Like,
does.
if I was still in my like freshman or even sophomore year mindset and like maturity wise, like I would not have been able to accomplish all the things that I was able to do.
Exactly.
And so that goes back. I feel like a lot of times we accidentally insult younger people, even though that's like our audience. But
but really, we're insulting our younger
we're,
self.
yes, and we're
Like,
trying to help.
really, Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, I'm just saying, 18-year-old
We
me
had it
didn't
wrong.
know what I was doing, so here's maybe you can be better.
You can be
as
a
an
better
18-year-old.
18-year-old. Yeah. But do you have any final closing like piece of advice, stories, anything you want to share?
Okay, I would say the one thing that always comes to mind, like for like final piece of advice or something, is that, because this is like, it's baller diaries, right? That's so cute. So a lot of athletes watching this, whatever sport you're in, you need to have your worth and your identity rooted in something that's not your sport.
That's so good, and we've talked about that before.
Yeah, and that it took me, I mean, sports are your identity needs to be rooted in something unshakable. Sports are very shakeable through injuries, through performances, through losses, whatever it might be. Have your worth and your value come from something that doesn't depend on the ball going through the net. For me, that's my faith in Jesus Christ. That might look different for you, but have something else that you can fall back on when your sport is going crazy, because it's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's so true. And like, we've literally talked about that before, of just like navigating when you're playing bad, navigating when your team's losing, and not like that was something I did really bad freshman year, was like when we were losing a lot, that made me like sad and like honestly borderline depressed at times because I was so focused on only winning or only playing good. And then I think I really didn't even learn it until probably like early junior year, of just like give yourself some time period after the game to care. And it's not that you're like, oh, we lost, like no big deal, because that's honestly equally as bad. But just like
that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you still have to give yourself some time to process it. But like my rule of thumb starting junior year, and I still hold it, is like you had a bad practice, you had a bad game. Okay, you get one phone call and you get like 1 hour to sit there and be like upset, or you get to rant, or you get to complain, like whether that's about yourself, a team, anybody. Like you get to just complain for an hour, and then the game is over. Go play better. And that helped me so much because the next day at practice, I wasn't still like angry. Like I wasn't filled with like anger or like mad at myself. Like it was just, the game's over. That was yesterday. Go get better. And so, yeah, I think that was a really good closing remark.
I think that's really beautiful too, because it's like I think that also like like is definitely something that takes time to fine tune. I still feel like I kind of waver, like what is my last thing? I don't know. Like in my undergrad it was maybe like my art, and then like now it's like, okay, I'm not doing as much art, so what is my next thing? Is it like, is it volunteering, which like I did some of my undergrads, like what are you gonna make your like next big thing? And I feel like it's kind of fun now because I'm in that transition period of like I don't know what that is right now, so it's kind of fun that you mentioned that, and just like what yours is like your faith and stuff. And I think that can help people to like give ideas of like what is an example of something that you can do outside. Like it might be faith, it might be for you like giving your time that like whatever. For me, I'll let you know in a couple weeks, I don't know. But like I think that's really beautiful too, and that like she said, like find something that you love that makes you complete without your sport, because one day the ball stops bouncing. So.
And like sports should only be a benefit to your life, not something that takes away. And I think the downside of college basketball, and honestly any sport, is that you do put so much pressure and it does start tearing away at yourself. And so like being able to separate the two while also being full in on basketball is something that's like very hard to learn. And yeah, you're talking to like 3 people who are now in their grad years, and so it's like you're not gonna learn it right away.
Old.
I know.
This is an old group of people.
This is an old group of people, but that means that we have a lot of wisdom.
We have like 12 years of eligibility between us.
Yeah, we really do. That's crazy. That is crazy.
That's wild. That's
okay,
wild.
well, on that identity crisis,
it is 15.
Because she has 6, 5.
I have 5.
16.
16.
We have 16.
16 years.
16 years of college experience coming at you. So
Wow.
Take it or leave it,
Yeah.
but I would take it.
Okay,
Well, we hope you enjoyed learning about Anna and getting to know more about her, and everyone go follow her if you don't.
Bye.